On this episode of Trying Not to Sink, we reinstall the isinglass on the flybridge, hook up our winter heaters, and then celebrate Halloween and our 33rd anniversary with a lot of wine and a bit of song. My name is Ed. I'm an ex-musician, turned politician, turned accountant, who now imagines himself a sea captain. This is Lynn. She's an ex-model, retired photographer, and the love of my life. 3 years ago we bought a boat. No experience and completely clueless. Since then we have traveled over 10,000 miles along the Atlantic coast and the Bahamas. Join us as we continue the adventure, exploring exciting places, meeting new people, and having the time of our lives while trying not to sink. Well, it's that time of year again. Unfortunately, weather's getting cold and the isinglass has to go back up. So this is all the new stuff that Lynn made last year. Actually, this one she just made, but these are from last year. And we've had them here in front of a space heater trying to warm them up a bit before we put them on. And you can take them up one at a time, and hopefully this goes smooth, because tonight we're having a small gathering, a little Halloween party to celebrate our anniversary. Well, the snaps are that way. So if we went here, I don't think it does. I think it goes the other side, right?
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. Alright, well, we'll do that.
Anyway, that went a lot easier than I thought it was going to. Get a couple of these things snapped and we're all done.
What? It's tight.
Does it look okay?
All done, right?
Yep.
That was a piece of cake.
It's like a greenhouse up here now.
I know. Really warm. But, you know, it makes it a living space in the winter, which is nice because it gets really warm.
It's hot as hell up here.
Woo woo! Strip show. Woo woo! All done.
Yep.
Isinglass up for the winter. We left that rolled up.
These wrinkles will come out as it sits for a bit, hopefully. It does get very warm up there during the day because, like I said, this greenhouse effect. At night it does get chilly up on the flybridge, but we're fortunate in that we have a heater here on the helm, and we turn the heater on. The heat rises right up through the opening and helps to heat up the flybridge. Now when that fails, when it's really cold out, I'll show you what we do.
Nice butt.
Isinglass looks great. Anyway, it is very hot up here now, but at night it does cool down a lot, and we put that on, that warms it up. We put that heater on and it warms it up, but in the very, very cold part of winter, Lynn opens this up, pulls out the gen air, and then pretends to grill something. And then this thing will heat this room right up. So this becomes all year round for us. Now, for those of you who follow our channel, you probably know that we do not winterize this boat. We keep it warm year round because, well, we like to use it year round. Now, in Philadelphia, it can get kind of cold. We are routinely in the teens in the winter, and sometimes we drop down as low as 0. What we do to keep the boat warm, space heaters. Now, we do have 6 heat pumps on this boat. For those of you who have heat pumps, you know that they don't work very well or at all when the temperature drops down very low. For that reason, we really can't use the heat pumps after, say, middle of November. What we do is we switch over to space heaters. Now, this here is a 4,000 watt space heater, and it's 220. Now, that's very important. Let me explain why we use 220 space heaters. Oops. The very first year that we had this boat, we tried to heat the boat with regular 1,500 watt heaters that you buy at, say, Lowe's. We had 5 or 6 of them around the boat, plugged them all in. We had a problem. And the problem is the amperage that we're able to pull out of the pedestals at the marina. We have a 50 amp and we have a 30 amp, giving us a total of 80 amps that we can pull. Now, 6 of those 1,500 watt heaters eats up about 70-75 amps, which leaves us 5 amps to run the rest of the boat. And that just doesn't happen. The second you try to use anything, use a microwave, try to make coffee, you blew the breakers. The solution to that was going to 220 heaters. The 220 use half the amps. So while we have a 4,000 watt heater here in the salon, we have another one down in the hallway below deck. Between the two of them, we have 8,000 watts. Yet between the two of them, they're only eating up about 33 amps, leaving us another, say, 67 amps to run the rest of the boat. So that's why we use the 220. Now, we were pretty fortunate in that back here in the salon, our heat pump uses the old-fashioned type of controls where they're actually running 220 lines to these switches. All I had to do was tap into the 220 line feeding this switch and bring it over to here, and I put a plug in for the 220 line heater, and it was simple. I did the same thing down below deck. Let me show you that one. Now, here in the hallway, I installed another outlet for 220. I tapped into the engine room and actually went straight on over to the breaker panel. So it wasn't quite as easy, but it wasn't a big deal. This is just a smaller version of a 4,000 watt heater that we usually just keep here in the corner during the winter. And both these things, they're less than $200. We picked it up on Amazon. I think they're about $170 each, something like that. Now, I'd say one of the downside is that it's kind of centrally located. It's heating all the bedrooms. You know, obviously it's going to be a little bit warmer here than it is all the way there or all the way in the bow. So it's not the perfect solution, but I can tell you what, it's a whole lot easier than it would be for, say, running baseboard, which I know some people in Hatteras do. I've had met people who've installed either propane or diesel heaters and ran the ductwork. And well, for our purposes, for the few weeks that we need this in the dead of winter in Philadelphia, this just works great.
We do have block heaters, though, that are on our engines.
Yeah, well, let me tell you about that, too. We have block heaters on both of the engines, and let's see, we have it right here. We can set the temperature on it so that they'll come on at a certain degree. I do not have it on right now, but I'm getting ready to go ahead and plug it in. It actually just is literally a plug that goes to here, which is a thermostat, which goes down to the block heater. So I'll go ahead and plug that in. Now, what they do, as well as protecting the engines, we leave them on all winter. You know, just it gives me peace of mind knowing that the engines are protected, but they also act like heaters as well, because they're just going to generate a lot of heat from each of the engine rooms. So if it does get cold, sometimes we'll just open these doors and let the heat come out into the hallway.
The one thing about the engine room is the vents here. The engine vents are completely open to the outside. And since we're not running the boat in the winter, we block these off. And I use these long, black, they're kind of pillows when you're working on the engine, so you don't have the engine sticking into you. And we just shove them in. And it just blocks that cold air that comes from the outside. And lucky stars, these are like the perfect size. And see, it just blocks that perfectly. So that's all we do to winterize our boat. That's it. I do know some other boats like the Carver, they have to winterize their engines and their water lines. We don't have to. So anyway, A video coming up soon is our Annapolis trip. 3 different boats, 3 different speeds, and we went together. So make sure you stay tuned for that. If you like our content, make sure that you ring the bell so you don't miss a video, and subscribe. Roger out.
I was going to get you something for our anniversary, but you have everything you want anyway, bitch. So I decided to learn a song for you.
Oh, did you?
Well, no, I tried to, but you never freaking leave, so you're always around, so I can never practice it. So I've been practicing it in my head for a couple of weeks.
You're lucky I'm always around.
Yeah, well, so this is me trying to practice a song.
Okay.
And this is a song that was our song when we were in our late 20s. We considered this our song. I guess it's self-explanatory, right?
Yeah, just
Tell me I'm a lucky one, and we just begun. Think I'm gonna have a son.
It was a daughter.
She will be like she and me, as free as a dove, conceived in love. Sun is gonna shine above.
Wait, ready?
Even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey. And every day bring a chain of love.
Irritation.
Yeah.
The last time
I mean, I did it.
like
I did it, but and that was before I had any inkling that I thought that I was going involved. And he never came back. Like ever since, I don't. I mean, like it's.
You kind of are a hoe, Cleo.
She's like, I have my boyfriend.
Oh,
You're just the wrong page to like that.
No, what I'm saying, so
She sang just like
Adele?
if you didn't care,
better than Adele.
I don't
The
know.
heart and the soul were there, and she's so young.
happened to me.
I love
13
young
years old.
singers.
I don't know her.
13.
Yeah.
Whoa.
The one she won.
And I didn't care.
Of the singer.
Yeah, I switched it to video. Here's somebody you don't see much because she's normally behind the camera.
I love Fleetwood Mac.
Little Halloween jam action. Play what?
You're my ice cream man, man.
I'm your someone passing by. Say, let me cool you one time to be my regular star. Well, you should pass by just around 11 o'clock. Never stop, you should pass by just around 11 o'clock. Yeah, let me cool you one time to be my regular star. Cause they will run you down to the top. Yes.